On the news this morning, Anambra in Abuja reassured Governor Soludo of support to deliver on his vision for the state. Anambra State Assembly calls for construction of more pedestrian bridges as federal government to delist illegal digital loan apps operating in Nigeria. From the foreign scene, we tell you that European Union plans more support for Ukraine in fight against Russia. Hello, beautiful morning to you and welcome to Breakfast News. I am David Opokwasele. Before the news in details, here is a special message. Governor HOMICIDE has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. We begin from the Federal Capital Territory, where Governor HOMICIDE has asked Anambra to hold him accountable if he misuses their money. The governor, who was speaking at a town hall meeting of Anambra in Abuja, assured that his administration would account for every penny it receives. Our Abuja Bureau Chief, Princess Ekwi Ajide, brings us the details.
The governor said Project Anambra is the only goal, as he will work with everyone irrespective of status, class, or political affiliation. Governor Soludo reeled out his numerous plans aimed at making Anambra a livable and prosperous homeland, which include creation of a land bank for various kinds of development, working with EDDC to ensure 24 hours electricity, well-trained security officials stationed in strategic places in Onitsha to check activities of hoodlums and various activities to ensure conducive environment. According to the governor, Anambra has all it needs to make life easier for the citizenry and for their businesses to thrive, and called on Anambra to think home now, as this is the right time to invest in the Southeast, which he noted will become the next business hub in the world.
We have acquired hectares of land, thousands of hectares of land, along the next industrial cities. 2 main cities, or 3 of them, will be emerging very soon. We've already acquired 106 hectares of land, the Ubo Ukuru axis, where each of them has given us 53 hectares of land. That's where we're going to be having the export processing zone, the export emporium, and with an agenda to have the Africa's largest shopping mall. And then the New Oka and the Iferabian. Oka will be a destination. Oka will be a true capital. And I believe by signaling that for the first time in 32 years of the creation of Anambra State, that there will be a governor's lodge and a government house in Oka.
Earlier in his opening speech, the chairman on the occasion, Sir Emekofo, called for all hands to be on deck in driving the vision of the Soludo administration of a livable Anambra State. He said Anambra must jettison issues of political parties, but uphold issues of the state for greater and faster growth. The 3 senators representing the 3 senatorial zones of the state, Senators Ifeanyi, Victor Ume, and Tony Nwoye, were eloquent in their call and pledge for support to the Soludo administration.
Security, I'm agreeing on your behalf everywhere. I said it in Channel TV last week. I said it in BBC Igbo last week. And I'm saying it again. Soludo no more, Fuma. And I got support to everyone.
in the Anambra from all walks of life, irrespective of party or political leanings, had gathered in the capital city to listen to Governor Chukwuma Soludo, who visited to intimate them on his policies and programs to make the state livable and prosperous. In Abuja, Princess Ekwi Ajide reporting.
And back to the states, Anambra State government has sealed off Cosmilla Hotel and Suites Oka over the death of a young club goer, late Miss Tinyere Awuda of Nobi in Idemili South local government area of Anambra State. The team that conducted the closure was led by the Commissioner for Culture, Tourism and Entertainment, Comrade Don Onyenji. Our correspondent, Chibuzo Koe, has the rest of the story.
Speaking during the closure of the hotel, the Anambra State Commissioner for Culture, Tourism and Entertainment, Comrade Don Onyenji, who regretted the sad incident, noted that the facility will remain closed pending when police investigation will end on the issues. The commissioner made it clear that Cosmilla Hotel is not registered with the Anambra State government under his ministry and threatened that government may start acquiring hospitality firms where heinous crimes are being perpetrated in the state. He maintained that Governor Chukwuma Soludo is working tirelessly to make the state a tourism hub as well as livable and prosperous, and as such will not allow any act of impunity or recklessness by anybody.
Most hotel owners in Anambra State are yet to get registered with the government, so government does not even know they are existing. So it's a double crime here. One, you are operating illegally. You are operating illegally once you don't have a license to operate. Two, if there's any criminal activity found happening in your place, as we have noted a few and have closed a few, the facility will be in trouble. Anambra State is on the march for tourism development.
For the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Oka Capital Territory Development Authority, ACDA, Mr. Osionoko, the ugly and avoidable incident is regrettable and advised hospitality owners in the state to always register with the Ministry of Tourism to ensure that their work is in conformity with the laws establishing them. Mr. Onuko said that the Soludo administration has no room for impunity and warned that any body, association, groups or facilities found wanting under any circumstance in the state would be severely dealt with.
You can't have a hotel and you just come there to make profit and you are reckless about the security of life and properties of people that come to patronize you. Leisure business is a big business and it must be regulated.
The manager of the hotel, Mr. Stanley Akunezivi, who admitted that the incident happened in their hotel, said that the alleged suspect had been in the police custody since the accident happened.
The CCTV footage, that's what I will talk about because I was not there when it happened. For first, I would say, like, from what I heard from the club, like they were clubbing and then somebody, they gave someone money and they kept it in the bag and the girl snatched it and started running. That's from what you say. But from the views of the CCTV so far I've seen, some persons came out looking for the girl and went back. Then the second one was seeing the girl run out, hid in the car here, and then ran in, not knowing that there is an abandoned pool there. That's the truth about what the CCTV showed.
Recently, news emerged on the social media where one Tinyere Awuda was alleged to have been beaten to death inside Cosmilla's nightclub, and her body was seen floating inside an abandoned swimming pool in the hotel. In Oka, this is Chibuzo Koye for ABS News.
Anambra State House of Assembly has passed a resolution urging Governor Chukwuma Soludo to direct the Ministry of Works to facilitate the construction of pedestrian bridges at Regina Shelley Junction, Oka, Old Trackers, Opiwe, Kornicha, Obokobai, Travelers Junction, and Obodupu, Eziweka Road, Onitsha. The House passed the resolution following a motion of urgent public importance sponsored by the member representing Obaru 1 constituency at the State House of Assembly, Honorable Nobu Igwe, during plenary. Our House of Assembly correspondent, Chukwuemeka Modelem, has the rest of the story.
Honorable Igwe explained that the population of people crossing those spots on daily basis is high, including primary and secondary school students and pupils with attendant risk. He pointed out that the speed at which vehicles accelerate on those bus stops is quite high due to the slopey nature of the roads, stating that this causes accidents which results in loss of lives.
Mr. Speaker, this is a motion calling on the Governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Masoludo, to direct the Commissioner for Works to facilitate the construction of pedestrian bridge at Regina Cheli Junction, Oka, Old Trackers of Iwek on Nature, Obukoba Travelers Junction, and Oboduku Eziweka Road, Obaru. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
On his part, the member representing Dunukofia constituency, Honorable Chus Azotani, noted that Regina Cheli Junction, Trackers Upper Iweka Junction, Okpoko Junction, and Oboduku Eziweka Junction play host to one of the most busiest bus stops traversing the major highways in Oka and Onitsha metropolis, adding that if pedestrian bridge is built across these areas, it will save lives and the rate of accidents happening on the said spots would be reduced drastically.
The essence of the government is to protect lives and property. The importance of that pedestrian bridge cannot be overemphasized, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Governor should construct these pedestrian bridges as means of curbing accidents.
In his contribution, the Deputy Speaker of the House, Honorable Chukwuma Okoye, and the Majority Leader, Honorable Ikenna Ofodeme, also stressed the need for the executive arm of government to rise to the occasion by constructing pedestrian bridges in those areas. The member representing Anocha 1 constituency, Honorable Nkechi Ogwefi, and the member for Onitsha South 1 constituency, Honorable Fred Ezenwa, also spoke in favor of the motion. The Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Somtochukwu Udeze, described it as a life-saving motion and read out the resolution of the House, while the lawmakers supported it through voice votes.
Be it therefore resolved that Anambra State House of Assembly calls on the Governor for the Charles Soludo to direct the Commissioner for Works to facilitate the construction of pedestrian bridge at Regina Cheli Junction, Oka, Trackers Iweka Road, Onitsha, Oboko by Travelers Junction, and Oboduku Eziweka Road, Obalu local government. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
From the State House of Assembly, Chukwuemeka Modelem, ABS News.
Though the current hike in fuel prices continue to affect the nation's economic value chain, the Anambra State Commissioner for Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Barrister Anthony Ifeanya, says that the fuel subsidy removal which triggered the hike is good for the country, is for the good of the country. The commissioner, however, said that the fuel subsidy removal, which led to inflation and weakened naira, requires federal government to urgently provide palliatives, increase investment in agriculture and other critical sectors of the economy, while citizens should cut down on lifestyles and initiate other survival measures. Joseph Ebocha brings us the details.
Barrister Ifeanya, who noted that the current fuel price is almost same as in other neighboring African countries, however, called for the revival of local and modular refineries to beat down the price of the commodity. He disclosed that the state government is planning to collaborate with the private sector for the establishment of local refineries.
We have been used to structural adjustment to program, like the 90s when we talk of Bangladesh and structural adjustment. It calls for tightening up our belts and cutting down our lifestyle. We will have to adjust. And then government doing what they should do by providing palliatives. We think of mass transit, think of changing to CNG, gas-powered motor vehicles, and even generators, and even in offices. So
Contributing, the chairman of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN Enugu Depot, which covers Enugu, Anambra and Ebonyi states, Mr. Chinedu Anyaso, explained that the recent sharp rise in fuel price was because of dollar exchange rate and drop in fuel supplies by the OPEC, adding that IPMAN members who supported the subsidy removal are also experiencing same hardship as the masses, while noting that Nigeria has 4 refineries that can produce 445,000 barrels of crude oil per day. In addition to Dangote's refinery that can produce 650,000 barrels per day, Mr. Anyaso said when put to work, the refineries, in addition to giving operating license to more marketers, will force down the price due to healthy competitions.
This removal subsidy, they make you now or them. You watch kerosene, no give up ego na kerosene, all go buru, my gas, manugua now. Oh, boy, gas now almost 1,000 na kerosene. Manugua gas now about 650, 6 something. Kerosene as at yesterday now about 300 and something naira. You don't know that. You know that market forces.
Before our transport fare about 13,000 to Lagos, but now from that 13 only to 20,000. To fill like then and now to fill the tank before 20,000 to bottle the tank, but now with 50-something thousand naira before fill the tank of this either Abuja or going to Lagos.
The one about logistic business, but the ATM going in Lagos, ATM company or not every Biabulu. ATM when we to Ibuna Lagos, more yeah, they can man more even Niki Joyce. Ibuten officer, Ibuna Lagos. Once everything sees. So I hear the president of the country, Yapavelo, Katan Kechi, Kamaka is where I call them.
About 23,000 from here to Lagos. But now, that is Lagos, I'm a use of 2,000, which is 2,000.
However, a commercial bus driver on Oka-Onitsha route, Mr. Godwin Wafa, said though buying a liter of fuel at above 600 naira is negatively affecting his business, his transport union has not approved any increase in fare, calling on government to do something about the situation. For Mr. Ezekiel Nwago, who bought fuel at 600 naira, the federal government is not helping matters for the masses, as according to him, there was no arrangement to cushion effects of the subsidy removal, while another motorist, Mr. Bright Ngozi, who equally bought the product at 600 naira, said he now moves around with only cars with less fuel consumption, calling on government to find better solutions immediately. In Oka, Joseph Ebocha reporting for ABS News.
The government, through the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission (FCCPC), has said it will release a list of illegal digital loan apps operating in Nigeria. It also said it would delist 2 legal loan apps from Google Play Store for harassing Nigerians. According to FCCPC, it had added digital loan lenders that refused or failed to register under its guidelines on its watch list for strict surveillance and necessary action. It advised Nigerians to exercise restraint and discretion in selecting digital money lenders and specifically recommended that consumers only patronize digital lenders on its approved list to avoid falling victim to illegal and prohibited lending and recovery practices. The Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria has expressed its full support for the federal government's initiative to set up the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. It will be recalled that the President, Bola Tinubu, recently signed 4 executive orders with key fiscal policy measures, including the suspension of the 5% excise tax on telecommunication services and excise duties on local manufactured vehicles. The President's CITN, Mr. Samuel Agbeluyi, lauded the initiatives and expected that the committee's mandate will lead to improved revenue collection efficiency, promote transparency, and foster a healthy tax culture. He also called for open dialogue and engagement of all stakeholders in the Nigerian tax system for the reforms to be all-inclusive and meaningful. Mr. Agbeluyi confirmed CITN's intention to participate fully as it had always done in the current reforms process. The European Union is drawing up plans for a 20 billion euro fund to provide Ukraine with weapons, ammunition and military aid as it fights Russia's invasion, officials have said. Joseph Borrell, the bloc's foreign policy chief, outlined the 4-year proposal to EU foreign ministers meeting in Brussels. Following the meeting, Borrell said EU would transform existing support into a long-term commitment to Ukraine's security and resilience. The proposal came amid an international drive to give Ukraine long-term security assurances, as announced by members of the G7 group on the sidelines of last week's NATO summit in Lithuania's capital, Vilnius. At the summit, NATO leaders said Ukraine should be able to join the military alliance in the future, but stopped short of offering it an immediate invitation, an outcome that was not what Ukraine officials had hoped for. In boxing, UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya will have to wait for his grudge match with the Cruz du Plessis, as the South African fighter is now set to miss their proposed bout in Australia due to a foot injury. After du Plessis' stunning first-round victory over Robert Whittaker in their unofficial #1 contender fight at UFC 290 earlier on July 9. The stage was similarly set for an explosive middleweight title showdown at Sydney's UFC 293 on September 10. Adesanya even entered the octagon to confront his newest contender in a racially charged face-off, adding further intensity to the impending clash. Despite the UFC yet to officially announce the bout, it was widely anticipated that the match between Adesanya and du Plessis would fill the mark slot in the promotion's first Australian event since 2020. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/ABS Television. You can follow us on Twitter at ABS Radio TV and on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. Before we go, here are the main points again. We told you that Anambra in Abuja have reassured Governor Soludo of support to deliver on his visions for the state. We also told you that the Anambra State House of Assembly has called for construction of more pedestrian bridges, as federal government is to delist illegal digital loan apps operating in Nigeria. We also told you that the European Union is planning more support for Ukraine in its fight against Russia. And that's the news this morning. Thanks for joining us. I am David Obokwasile. But remember, Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's continue to give him maximum support for the task ahead. Thank you for joining us.